I don't even know how to start telling this story. Just thinking about it makes my head spin. My heart feels like it's been shattered into a million pieces. And I honestly feel like I might faint from the sheer weight of it all. But here it goes. I've been married to my wife for 9 years and we've been together for 11. We're both from Europe, though we're from different countries. For the last decade, we've been living in Asia, and the past 8 years have been spent in this country we now call home. We've built a life here with our 3 beautiful children. My wife stopped working after our first son was born, and since then her world has revolved around the kids and the home. Meanwhile, I've worked hard to provide for our family and ensure we're comfortable. I even have permanent residency here, which allows my wife and children to stay in the country with me even though they don't have citizenship. Honestly, if you'd asked me before last week, I'd have told you that our marriage was pretty solid. Sure, we've had our fair share of arguments over the years, but nothing unusual. Just the normal ups and downs that come with being married. I never once imagined that things were seriously wrong or that she felt unhappy. She never gave me any signs, no complaints about loneliness, boredom, or feeling unloved. She had her routine, and from the outside, it seemed like everything was fine. Our oldest son goes to school, our younger son is in preschool, and our daughter goes to kindergarten. My wife handles the morning drop-offs and pickups. She prepares lunch, and when I come home from work, she's there, smiling and waiting for me. We'd go on family vacations, take trips during the holidays, and even have date nights on the weekends. It all seemed so perfect. We had this unspoken understanding of one another. Or at least that's what I thought. But everything changed last Wednesday, and I just still can't believe it. I came home from work and parked the car outside like I always do. She didn't hear me come in, and as I stepped into the house, I overheard her talking on the phone with someone. The words she said froze me in my tracks. I miss you. I can't wait to see you this week. My stomach dropped. Who was she talking to, and why did she sound so affectionate? Almost giddy, the kind of giddy that was reserved for the early stages of a relationship, the kind of excitement she hadn't shown me in years. I asked her who she was talking to, and without missing a beat, she told me it was one of her friends who was on a trip. She even added that this friend had been traveling for a while, something I already knew to be true. To be fair, I didn't think much of it in the moment. I trusted her completely. The thought of her cheating never crossed my mind. But there was something about that conversation that didn't sit right with me. Something about the way she acted afterwards. Overly attentive, too nice. Made my gut churn. I tried to push the suspicion out of my mind. Maybe I was just overthinking it. Maybe I was being paranoid. But the next day, the feeling gnawed at me, and I couldn't shake it. Why had she ended the call so quickly when she heard me come in? Why had she been acting so strangely? Thursday morning, I went to work, but my mind was elsewhere. I couldn't concentrate. I kept replaying the moment I walked into the house over and over in my head. At some point during the day, I decided to call her, just to check in. When she answered, she said she was at home, but I could hear noise in the background like she was somewhere public, and that's when it hit me. She was lying to me. I left work early, my heart racing the entire 30-minute drive back to the house. I had to know for sure. When I got home, she wasn't there. I called her again and pretended like I needed her to check something for me in the house. I wanted to see if she'd keep up this charade. She told me she was at home and I could hear her walking around, pretending to check the things I'd asked her about. My stomach twisted into knots. That night, she was as lovely as ever. She was affectionate, wanting to spend time together with the kids. I couldn't understand how I remained so calm. Every word she said, every smile she flashed at me felt like a lie. I wanted to scream at her, confront her, throw her out of the house. But I didn't. I just told her I was tired and pretended to go along with it all. That night, after the kids were in bed, we had sex. I hated every moment of it. I felt numb, disconnected, like I wasn't even in my own body. All I could think about was that phone call, that strange behavior, the lies. Afterwards, I stood in the shower, for what felt like hours, trying to scrub the disgust from my skin. But no matter how long I stayed in there, the feeling wouldn't go away. When she finally fell asleep, I knew it was time to find the truth. I grabbed her phone and I went through it, my hands trembling with every swipe. I don't know if she thought I'd never check or if she was just careless, but she hadn't deleted anything. The messages were hidden, but not erased. There it was, the truth staring back at me from the screen. She was cheating on me. The guy she was cheating with? Some younger guy, probably in his mid-20s. I checked his Instagram profile. He was exactly the type you'd expect. Tattoos, expensive jewelry, flashy cars. He wasn't even local. He was European like us, and by the looks of it, he had money. Lots of it. His page was filled with photos of him traveling the world, partying, flaunting his supercars, and following endless numbers of women. I couldn't believe it. She had ruined our marriage, our family for this? For some kid with a pretty face and a fat wallet? As I read through the messages, my heart sank deeper and deeper. They'd been physical at least 4 to 5 times, and there were so many nudes, almost all sent in the mornings when she was alone, after dropping the kids off at school, and before I got home from work. The affair had been going on for about a month, maybe more. I had no idea how they'd even met, but judging from the messages, it seemed like she was the one chasing him. She was the one initiating the meetings, always eager to see him, while he barely seemed to care. That hurt the most. She was risking everything, our marriage, our kids, for someone who didn't even seem to value her. There were nights she told me she was out with friends, nights I never questioned, nights she spent with him instead. 2 times she met him when she claimed she was with her friend. Other times they'd been together during the day while I was at work. She had even planned to meet him the day I overheard that phone call, but he told her he was busy. I couldn't believe it. My wife, the mother of my children, had been living a double life right under my nose. The next morning I woke up next to her feeling sick to my stomach. She acted like nothing was wrong, as if everything was perfectly normal. She wanted to spend time with me and the kids, as if we were still the happy family we'd always been. But all I could think about was those messages, those photos, the lies. I spent most of the day locked away in my home office trying to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do. I couldn't stand being near her, knowing what she'd done. That evening, I met up with my best friend and showed him everything. He was furious on my behalf, urging me to confront her and kick her out of the house. But I wasn't ready for that yet. I needed to plan my next steps carefully. Divorce is the only option, obviously. But here's the problem. We live in a foreign country, on the other side of the world from her families. If we divorce, I'm terrified she'll take the kids back to her country, and I can't let that happen. I'll fight tooth and nail to keep them with me. I own the house, both cars, and our savings are split between a joint account and my personal account. She doesn't have her own bank account, and during our marriage, I've also acquired property in my home country, which is solely in my name. Financially, I'm in a stronger position, but I know the courts don't always play fair, especially when it comes to custody. So now I'm sitting here late at night wondering what the heck to do next. I'm going to call a lawyer first thing in the morning, even though it's Sunday. I need to figure out how to protect myself and my kids. I can't stand to be near her anymore, but I don't know whether to kick her out or leave myself. And then there's the nagging doubt in the back of my mind, the thought that maybe, just maybe, the kids aren't even mine. I hate that I'm even thinking that, but I need to know for sure. A DNA test is in order. Gosh, I can't believe I'm even saying that. Anyways, I haven't told anyone else about this, just my best friend, and now you. I'm too embarrassed, too ashamed. If you have any advice, I'm all ears. I don't know what to do anymore. I feel like my whole world is crumbling around me. This man found out that his wife had a secret OnlyFans page where she sells explicit content to strangers. You won't believe how this story unfolds. Check out this video to find out.